Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session of hacking web application. I hope I am audible to every one of you and the screen is visible to everyone. So without wasting much time, let's directly start this session. In this particular session, we are going to learn about few tools, few methods using which we can proceed with web application hacking. So before starting, let me first clear out one thing, that what exactly is web application. Well, we all know about application, app, right? APP. And we are generally familiar with mobile applications, and we know about website. Talking about web application, it is something that is like a software which works on the web, which requires a browser. Okay, few examples of web applications are, for example, net banking. Okay, uh, e-commerce website like Flipkart, Amazon, uh, exam websites where online exam happens. So these are basically a real example of web application. So if we talk about facebook.com, the website, is it a web application? No, it's just a website. A web app is something which is not like a social media platform, not like a photo sharing platform, but it should be something like a authentication based program जहां पे कस्टमर्स और यूजर्स क्रेडेंशियल्स डाल के ऑथेंटिकेट होके अपना डेटा एक्सेस कर सकते हैं और वो ट्रांजैक्शंस परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. अ ट्रांजैक्शन कुड बी एनीथिंग, इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट मनी. ट्रांजैक्शन कुड बी ऑफ transaction of messages, transaction of files, folders, encryption. It could be anything. So in today's session, we will be basically understanding how we can use some common tools to perform web application hacking. So let me start with some basic example. Let's discuss about few vulnerabilities. Okay, vulnerabilities क्या हुए? Obviously it's a bug or a weakness, and it's not like कि हमेशा bugs और vulnerabilities fix हो जाते हैं. In today's time, Facebook, YouTube, Google, they are since years, 10 years, 15 years. बट अभी भी उनके बग बाउंटी प्रोग्राम्स रहते हैं, अभी भी दे हायर इथिकल हैकर्स. राइट नाउ ऑल्सो दे फेस hundreds, thousands of bugs every day, because in today's world where internet is continuously growing, right? Internet is continuously updating. So the customer's data is also vulnerable to these latest technologies because of the vulnerabilities. जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ेगा वैसे वैसे खामियां भी बढ़ेंगी. Please understand this one thing. So why cybersecurity is one of the golden opportunities for you in today's world. Why choosing cybersecurity can change your whole life. Why becoming a hacker can change your whole life. Because cybersecurity thinks about 5-10 years ahead. फ्यूचर में हम साइबर सिक्योरिटी को देखते हैं. साइबर सिक्योरिटी को कभी एआई रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता. हैकर्स को कभी एआई रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता. अगर ऐसा होना ही था, ऐसे हजारों सॉफ्टवेयर आ चुके थे मार्केट में, बट देयर वाज नो सॉफ्टवेयर which can do a proper hacking. It requires a human interference. Without a human interference, it's never possible to perform any attack. I hope this point is clear. Let's talk about one simple example. Java programming language. You all know about Java, right? This is something which is most popular in the current industry, and 70-80% of the applications are built on Java. That's why Java is a free and open source language. और कंट्रीब्यूटर्स का बात किया जाए जावा में, देयर आर बिलियंस ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूटर्स, millions of contributors for Java. Contributors means the developers who contribute to Java economy, Java development. Every day, Java gets hundreds of updates. Can you believe? Every single day, Java gets 100 plus updates. Now just imagine कि कोई लैंग्वेज, सॉरी, कोई ऐसा लैंग्वेज जो डेली अपडेट होता हो। आप समझो कि डेवलपर्स के लिए कितना मुश्किल होता होगा उस लैंग्वेज को यूज करना। टुडे वी हैव रेस्ट एपीआई, वी हैव नोड जेएस, एंगुलर जेएस, पावर बीआई, टैबलू। मतलब ऐसे ऐसे चीजें आज के डेट में टेक्नोलॉजी इंप्रूव हो रही है कि इट इज वेरी हार्ड फॉर द डेवलपर्स टू कीप ट्रैक। इसीलिए इथिकल हैकर्स एंड हैकर्स को भी दिक्कतें होती हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजीज। तो इट्स योर जॉब टू डू प्रॉपर रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट एवरी टाइम, एवरी डे, विदाउट मिसिंग अ सिंगल चांस। क्योंकि अगर आपने किसी क्लाइंट के लिए कोई प्रोजेक्ट लिया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू गॉट अ क्लाइंट हु इज पेइंग यू 20,000 rupees to perform a vulnerability analysis on their website, right? So what you will be doing is, आप स्कैन करोगे पूरा वेबसाइट उनका। You will be using automated tools, you will be using lot of softwares, and at the end when you get the result, ऑब्वियसली वो क्लाइंट आपसे पूछेगा कि मैं इसको कैसे फिक्स करूं, प्लीज सजेस्ट सम रेमिडिएशन, सजेस्ट सम सोल्यूशन टू फिक्स दिस आउट। एंड इफ यू डोंट नो अबाउट द टाइप ऑफ वनरेबिलिटी, आपको पता ही नहीं है कि वो वनरेबिलिटी क्या है, क्या मतलब होता है उसका, आपने बस सॉफ्टवेयर यूज कर लिया, यू गॉट द रिजल्ट्स एंड दैट्स इट। नो, it's your job to know about each and every vulnerability, because it's your job to recommend clients that this is a vulnerability which requires this level of skill, which means you need to let the client know that they need to hire someone to fix the issue out. And if you don't know about the type of vulnerability, if you don't know about what is the vulnerability, what it can do, then it's waste. आप एक बस स्क्रिप्ट कीड़ी हो जाओगे जो सिर्फ टूल्स यूज करना जानता हो। बट वी आर नॉट हेयर टू डू द सेम, we are here to understand each and every vulnerability on the internet, each and every bug on the internet, because in 90% cases, 90% cases का अगर मैं बात कहूं, we will be able to find out a bug, a vulnerability जो कि पहले किसी ने ऑलरेडी ढूंढ रखा है। ये 90% केसेस में होते हैं। सो आप बस उसी सेम चीज को दोबारा ढूंढ रहे हो जो कि पहले से ही पता है कि है मार्केट में। अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज आई एम यूजिंग विंडोज 7। आज विंडोज 7 को एक्सपायर हुए सालों हो गए, बट आई एम स्टिल यूजिंग विंडोज 7 फॉर एग्जाम्पल। किसका गलती है ये? हुज मिस्टेक इज दिस that I am letting my data vulnerable to hackers? It's my mistake because I'm not updating myself, right? और जस्ट इमेजिन करो कि आप विंडोज 11, विंडोज 12, विंडोज 13 डेली आते रहे ऐसा अपडेट, अगर तो अपडेट आने के बावजूद आपके लिए इट विल बी वेरी हार्ड टू कीप updated. That's what happens on the internet. We cannot predict any vulnerability, we cannot predict any bug, we cannot say ki we will be able to get some new vulnerability, we cannot say that we'll be able to get only old vulnerabilities, never ever fixed. So it's something like that. So आपको अपने साइड से रेडी रहना है। You need to make sure that you are updated with all the type of vulnerabilities, all kind of bugs, all kind of weaknesses, so that once you get that vulnerability you can fix it out without even searching the internet. आपको गूगल पे ना जाना पड़े, आपको रिसर्च ना करना पड़े उस पर्टिकुलर समय में। You should know about all these things. System gets slow by updating like Android, iOS, Windows. वेल वेल वेल, ये कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते इसमें. इट्स अबाउट हार्डवेयर. आई एम हैविंग आईफोन. आई अपडेटेड माई आईफोन टू द लेटेस्ट वर्जन. आई एम फेसिंग इश्यूज. My phone is lagging, it's working slow, but I know in the upcoming version they'll fix this issue out. But अब सिस्टम आपका कॉन्फ़िगरेशन कम है तो इट विल बी ऑटोमेटिकली लैगिंग, इट विल स्लो ऑब्वियसली. ये बाय नेचुरल चीज है, दैट कैन नॉट बी चेंज्ड. इवन माय सिस्टम हैविंग 16 GB ऑफ रैम गेट्स स्लो समटाइम बिकॉज ऑफ simultaneously I run lot of programs. तो उसके कारण स्लो होता है. तो अपडेटिंग इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी नेचुरल. ऑब्वियसली अबाउट विंडोज इज वेरी स्लो इन अपडेटिंग, इट कॉजेज लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज. बट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अदर थिंग्स. मैं यहाँ पे सिर्फ विंडोज iOS की बातें नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कॉमन थिंग्स लाइक Firefox, Google Chrome, whatever tool I'm using, Microsoft Excel. Okay, any tool, any software, if it is vulnerable, it will be hackable. Like Zoom, if I don't update the Zoom application and I'm using a vulnerable version of Zoom, I'm hackable. मैं कभी भी hack हो सकता हूँ. So that's something which I'm trying to explain. So there's a website, ExploitDB. Most of you might know about this already. It's the database of all the exploits which is discovered by normal users, security researchers. और वो जैसे ही उसको डिस्कवर करते हैं यहाँ पे वो एक्सप्लॉइट डीबी पे उसको अपडेट कर देते हैं सो दैट others also are familiar with the particular exploit. So डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप्स के एक्सप्लॉइट्स यहाँ मिलते हैं आपको. शेल कोड्स, जीरो डेज, रिमोट एक्सप्लॉइट्स, लोकल एक्सप्लॉइट्स, वेब एप्लीकेशन एक्सप्लॉइट्स, वनरेबिलिटी रिपोर्ट, सिक्योरिटी आर्टिकल्स, ट्यूटोरियल्स एंड मोर. So if you go to this website, you'll find a whole database of the exploits. एक्सप्लॉइट क्या होता है? से दैट आपको एक वनरेबिलिटी मिल जाती है. यू आर एबल टू डिस्कवर अ वनरेबिलिटी. ओके, एंड what you do is you try to visit exploit db so that वो वनरेबिलिटी जो आपको मिला उसको एक्सप्लॉइट करने के लिए, मींस आपको वीकनेस मिल गया, आपको लूप होल मिल गया, आपको बग्स मिल गए. ठीक है, अब आपको उसको हैक करने के लिए एक स्क्रिप्ट चाहिए. अ स्क्रिप्ट इज समथिंग विच इज अ काइंड ऑफ एक्सप्लॉइट जिसमें मल्टीपल लाइन ऑफ कोड रहते हैं. उस कोड में इंस्ट्रक्शन यही रहता है कि इस खामी को एक्सप्लॉइट करें. से दैट वो वनरेबिलिटी, वो खामी है कि पासवर्ड बहुत वीक है. तो आई कैन राइट अ स्क्रिप्ट टू डू ब्रूट फोर्स अटैक which will try multiple combination of passwords to make sure we are authenticated. Got it? So उसका स्क्रिप्ट आपको इस वेबसाइट से मिल सकता है from exploit db. So for example, the first result is something which got published on 22nd of April, मतलब कुछ दिन पहले, 8 9 दिन पहले. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट विंडोज 11 कर्नल प्रिविलेज एस्केलेशन. मतलब माइक्रोसॉफ्ट 11 में, विंडोज 11 में प्रिविलेज एस्केलेशन का एक वनरेबिलिटी आ चुका है. एंड यू सी most of the reports are submitted by a same user because there are someone who is full time reporter. Apache common text 1.10.0 remote code execution. So if I click on here, first thing is this CVE. भाई CVE क्या है? It is a code which stands for Common Vulnerability Exposure System, which means it is a code given to all the vulnerabilities so that people can recognize. अबे Microsoft 11 का ये issue है तो obviously ये official हो चुका है. तो if we click on this, we'll be able to see more details about the same vulnerability. See, CVE 2014 21338, Windows kernel elevation of privilege vulnerability. Base score is 7.8, which is very high, which is very severe. मतलब कि ये बहुत डेंजरस वनरेबिलिटी है. यानी कि विंडोज 11 भी अब वनरेबल हो चुका है विंडोज 10 की तरह. सो फ्यू मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन इज अवेलेबल. सो बेसिकली कहने का मतलब कि एक्सप्लॉइट डीबी आपको वो एक्सप्लॉइट प्रोवाइड करेगा फॉर द पर्टिकुलर वनरेबिलिटी. वो एक्सप्लॉइट ये रहा. You can either download or view a raw code. This is the exploit. It seems it's in PHP or it's not PHP. It's in this is the code basically. It's in a Python code. तो ये कोड एक्सप्लॉइट हुआ, ये हमको लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. इफ यू आर अ गुड प्रोग्रामर you can even write these, but generally these exploits we can easily get from websites like exploitdb, and there are a few other websites also. So you can just download the code, whole code, or simply view the raw format and use the particular script in Microsoft in Metasploit and perform the activity. Okay, this is one way of finding out vulnerabilities and exploit of the particular vulnerability from exploitdb. I hope this point is clear to every one of you. Okay, moving forward, let's minimize this. So now we know that exploit db is something which is very very useful to the security researchers, because it is something which we use to find out exploit for any known vulnerability. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया 90% vulnerabilities जो आपको मिलेंगी, that will be already in the market, that's already on the internet. So it means that you are already performing a research which is already known to anyone, someone on the web. But still, it's important. The research and development R&D is very very important for ethical hacker and cybersecurity researchers. Okay, so now we'll proceed with some practicals where we will be seeing few steps, few tools which can be basically used to perform web application hacking. अब वेब एप्लीकेशन हैकिंग में अलग अलग तरीके के, आप कह सकते हो, vulnerabilities होते हैं. We have various different kinds of vulnerabilities for web application, like XSS attack, CSRF attack. I'll list out some vulnerability list of web applications vulnerabilities. Okay, give me 5 minutes, everyone. I'll be back, and then we'll discuss this list of vulnerabilities. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any query, any question, you can type in the live chat. I'll get back to you. Just give me 2-3 minutes. Okay, I don't see any queries here. Then let's proceed. So in this particular uh, lab, we are basically going to perform few practicals. Okay, for example, we will be performing some web spidering with the help of OWASP Zap. Zap proxy, Z attack proxy. Okay, it's a tool by OWASP. I hope you know about OWASP. Okay, so what exactly is this tool? It's basically a web spider tool which crawls through the website, and it looks for all the possible information from the particular source code. Okay, so this will be having first. After that, we'll be seeing few practicals of tools like Hafiz. Okay, we'll be seeing some practical of burp suit, some practical of XSS attack, CSRF attack. Okay, so ये कुछ प्रैक्टिकल्स हैं जो हम देखेंगे इस पर्टिकुलर सेशन में. उसके बाद हम परफॉर्म करेंगे WP स्कैन के थ्रू एंड मेटास्प्लॉइट के थ्रू few information gathering of vulnerabilities of the web application. Okay, then we have lot of ways using which we can exploit the remote target and execute remote command, file upload vulnerabilities. Okay, so basically we have different kinds of vulnerabilities available in a website. अगर हम बात करें इन vulnerabilities के बारे में, तो let me explain you each and every vulnerability one by one. Okay, before that there is a question, let me answer that. This session is going to be just for 40 minutes to 1 hour. We'll continue this tomorrow also, same time. उसके लिए आपको mail आ जाएगा. We'll share you a mail of that, because this topic is very big and there are a lot of vulnerabilities which we'll be covering. So yeah, it will be only for 40 minutes. And do we need to know coding background to transition into cybersecurity domain? Even though I'm from cyber computer science background, I don't understand coding. Okay, so tools, troubleshoot. Well, there's a one thing which you need to understand, Rakesh. There's a question, and it's very good question. He's asking to get into cybersecurity domain. Is it very important to basically know coding? Well, the answer is no. Why? Because I'm also on cybersecurity and I never learned coding. I basically started in cybersecurity. Before that, I knew basic of HTML, CSS, right? So मैंने क्या किया? I just started exploring and performing different bug bounties. I started doing research. I started scanning targets, finding vulnerabilities. I automatically got exposure to coding, the programming language. Knowing coding or programming language in cybersecurity doesn't mean that you need to learn and know how to code something and how to create a website or application. No, you just need to be someone who is expert in finding out bugs and issues in the line of code. अगर मैं आज के टाइम में भी if I am able to look into a line of code, I can easily tell you that there is a issue in that line of code. Understand? It doesn't mean that I need to learn and I need to know to write the whole program. It doesn't matter that I know the whole Python or not. It's just the matter of if I know how to find the issue in a Python program. So it's like something like that. So basically you need to learn about tools, how to troubleshoot something, how to basically understand a line of code. So it's like matter of time. So you can jump into cybersecurity domain. It's never about coding, but it's about experience. That's the only thing which matters. In cybersecurity, experience matters. And that experience you cannot get directly from a job, but you need to do freelancing, you need to do bug bounty. Even if you're not getting any bounties, it doesn't mean कि आपको पैसा मिलना ही चाहिए. Just perform it, and you'll just automatically get to know everything. I myself don't know how to code a whole Python program. I myself don't know how to code a proper Java application, a program. but I know how to basically find vulnerability in a line of code. I know how to find SQL injection. I don't know how to write full SQL script. That's the truth. It's not only for me, but for all cybersecurity researchers. And I think after 5 years, I might learn how to write a whole code. So it's just matter of time. I hope it's clear to you now, Rakesh. Let's proceed. Vulnerabilities. We'll just discuss about the vulnerabilities, types of vulnerabilities, and then after that we'll perform some practicals. We have only 8 to 10 minutes of remaining time. In next session, we'll be having the practicals of all these vulnerabilities. So let me explain one by one. I hope the screen is visible to you. First, injection vulnerability. What is injection vulnerability? Simple term, injection means to put and insert something, okay, into anything. Talking about IT, information security, information technology, we are talking about script here. अब कोई वेब एप्लीकेशन हो सकता है. There might be a web application, a website, a software, and we are able to discover a line of code. Okay, we or a hacker can inject a piece of code, a piece of script directly into the code. And if the program is not strong enough, if the website developers have not focused on the security part and they just forgot about the security and they just wrote down the whole code, the attackers can easily manipulate the code by injecting some malicious scripts. Talking about SQL injection, there are some SQL injection payloads. These payloads are nothing but the piece of script which works to give you information, and it depends. अब SQL injection कैसे काम करता है, I'll just explain you the whole overview, and after that in next session we'll have practical. So SQL injection first topic is something which is used to interact with the database. Okay, it's a server query language. So suppose if you're logging in, if you're signing up, if we are submitting a form, basically एक SQL code run हो रहा होगा उसके पीछे. It's not fixed कि every website uses SQL. No, it depends. Some uses NoSQL, some uses MongoDB. It depends. So say that this is a line of code for SQL. Union select username password from user. This query is when login page works. आप जब यूजर नेम पासवर्ड डाल के सबमिट करोगे, when you submit after entering username and password, click on submit button. This is how the code looks like. When you click on submit, the server is getting an instruction from web application that select that data in the database where username and password is same as the user entered from the table known as users. That means if this statement is true, the login will be true. If the statement will be false, obviously the username password if not matching, it will return false. So जैसा भी error handling होगा, it will return a error message to the user that password is wrong, username is wrong. Okay, just like that, if there is a product page, if there is a e-commerce website, and if there are different products on the website, so basically this query is something how it looks like. Select name, description, name, item price, product price, from products, where category, sorry, where category is equal to gift, and union select username password. It depends, like condition हो सकता है. This is a simple query. The hacker can easily inject a malicious script in between that. For example, username and password needs to be entered by the customer and the user. What if instead of actual username, I insert a malicious code? Instead of username, I insert something like this, or like this, or like this, or like different kind of payloads are available here. Okay, these are for generic SQL injection payloads, like to bypass the authentication, and these are generic error based payloads which let us know that there is an error in the system, in the code, and we can exploit that with the help of other malicious payloads. Then we have generic time based SQL payloads, generic sleep union select payloads, I'll explain you in the practical tomorrow that what exactly is each and every payload meant for basically. Obviously, we won't be doing all this manually. We have automated tools for performing SQL injection. Okay. Yes, the recording will be available. Got it? That is SQL injection. Okay. Then there is something known as cross-site scripting, XSS. Cross-site scripting is very important to understand here because on a website, if we are able to inject a malicious code, we can inject a JavaScript, जो कि basically किसी और यूजर के पेज पे वेबसाइट पे ब्राउजर में एग्जीक्यूट हो सकता है. सपोज इफ देयर इज अ पेज लाइक दिस पेज, I'm able to find a vulnerability here in the search box. I inserted the malicious SQL, the malicious XSS code here, and performed search. So if it is not able to find, or if it is not able to execute, and if it is processing the data, it will look like something like this. This is the query. We can insert the SQL query here also. We can insert XSS queries here also. And if it is getting executed, वो उस website पे भी execute हो जाएगा. I'll explain more in the practicals that how it works. So it's basically a way of executing malicious script on a website which is vulnerable to XSS attack. Then we have something known as cross-site request forgery, CSRF. We have something known as remote code execution, RCE, command injection, CI, XML injection, LDAP injection, XPath injection. These are for injection vulnerabilities where we can inject a piece of code. Then we have something broken authentication and session management vulnerabilities. Session fixation, brute force, session hijacking, password cracking, weak password storage, insecure authentication, credential reuse, cookie theft. Then we have sensitive data exposure. Then we have security misconfiguration because of human error, like default passwords. If you have a router and you installed it and you don't know how to change the password, you will be using a default password. So any other user can easily access it and hack it. Unpatched software and so on. Okay. We'll be having some practicals of very known vulnerabilities like uh, obviously XSS, CSRF, SQL, session hijacking, LDAP. We'll be having practicals on remote code execution, okay, man in the middle attack, DOM, cross-site scripting, and all these. So we'll carry out this practical in the next session, which will be tomorrow. For that, we'll be sharing a mail along with the joining link. It will be same link which you have received today, but timing will be also same. So let's meet tomorrow again, same time at 12:30. The recording will be shared to you all post this session ends. For iLabs, we'll be having the session after this session ends. It will be like 15-minute delay. It will be like 1:30 will start. So if you want to know the iLab configuration and iLab setup instruction, you can join the session at 1:30 again. I hope it's clear.